Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Kingsley and today we will continue on our amazing series on Looker Studio for data analysts. Today I'm going to walk you through on data modeling with Looker Studio. I'm going to explain to you the overall interface of the Looker Studio data source editor. So this is where you are going to model your data, clean your data, prepare it for business purposes. So enough of this stuff. You know how we do it. Let's hop into my computer so we will show you what to do. Before you start your visualization in Looker Studio, it's important to understand your data. You have to clean up your data, prepare it for the analysis you want to do. You don't just move into the report interface and start building your dashboard. It doesn't really work that way. Most of the time, it most of the time as a data analyst, you spend it cleaning and preparing your data to meet the business requirements. On today's video, I will walk you on the data source editor, how it works, everything around it, going to explain it in detail so you know where things are and how to use them. All right, so let's move on. When you go up here, where we have recent, you have reports, you then see that we have data sources. You click on data sources, we have just one data source connected. Let's click on it. This was our supply chain data we brought in from Google Sheets. So let's click on it and go to the editor. So this is the data source editor. This is the interface and it's so simple. So I'm going to come up here. Up here is the name of the data source. Please take note of that. This is the name of the data source, not the name of the report. And here we see the refreshed version. When you click on it, you will see all the refreshed versions and it's all written there and simple, easy to understand, to help you understand how often you have refreshed this, this particular data set. Because when you go up here, you can share, you can get help. This is my account. This is the avatar for my account. Now a little bit under it, we'll have some things like we have like we have my credential, which has my name. We have data freshness, how often you refresh your data. You can change this 15 minutes to different minutes. Let's click on it. So from 15 minutes, which is the default, you can actually change it to refresh every hour, every 4 hours, or every 12 hours. Or you set your own data freshness. It's up to you. Next is, do you want data visualization, the community data visualization access on? Now, the thing about it is, if you keep it on, you have access to community data visuals, and when they come in, they might have access to your data. So it's up to you to say you want to keep it on or you want to turn it off. For security reason, especially when it affects business data, you might want to turn it off. So I would strongly recommend that you turn it off. All right, so let's move on. So this is the field editor source. You can turn it off and you can turn it on. Let's move down a little bit down there. So we can go back to editing connections. We can filter by email. You can add a field, like a new field. You can add parameter. Going to come back on how to add a new field whenever we want to add a new field, and how to create a parameter when we want to create a parameter. And those will come back, those will come up in subsequent videos. Here we come. Let's take a quick look at what we have here. This is our data set. On this, you can see By the left, you will see the dimension. It's saying we have 22 dimensions and we have one matrix. In this dimension, we also have one calculated field. So I will come down to them. In Lucas Studio, the field in a data source have certain properties. And these are some of the properties here. You have the field, which is like the which has like the name of the dimensions. And this one is category, city. We have the data type, we have the aggregates, default aggregates, and most times they come with none. Most of the data come with none. However, this has the sum as a default aggregate. Okay, so let's move on. If you want a kind of give a description to each field so that whenever you return back, you will be able to understand what that field is, what it actually does. This is a kind of this is kind of a metadata to your data set. This is where you do it. You just come in here and you will type whatever you want to type. That reflects the meaning of this table. Although it could come from the database or the data warehouse, you could actually edit it. You can actually edit it and make it whatever you want it to be. So it is a very useful tool here. Again, we have the field name, we have the data type, field data type, we have the aggregation performed, or we have the aggregation performed on the field, and then we have the description for that field. Okay, so let's go field by field. On this field, we have dimension. The dimension is noted to be green. Whenever you see the field with a green background, then you know that it is a dimension. And then when you see a field with a blue background, then know that it is the matrix. And before we go further, what is actually dimension? So dimensions are used to describe or categorize your data. So the dimensions contain the unaggregated data. That's what they contain. Dimension, they also appear as green field. So these are the green field and this is the blue field. That's how you get to recognize dimension. And of course, it has a name there, dimension. So that's how simple it is. Now let's move down to metrics. Your metrics measure your dimension. Your metrics contain all your aggregated value or all your aggregated data. Like we have record counts. So this is count, and you could see its number, and it's automatically what automatically it did was to count the number of rows on this record. And it's easy. It and that's how simple it is. It helps you understand easily. You can pick up this particular metrics and understand how many records you have in your data sets. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. The next one is data type. So imagine you have your data and you're not sure of the data type that it came with. So this particular column makes it easy for you to understand your data better. So this category field tells you that it's a text data. If you think it's not a text data and you think it's a number, you all you need to do is come in here and change the data type. That's all you need to do. So let's move on to the next one. So we have city. City is a geographic location. And because it's a geographic location, that's where we have this map, this geo map here. And on this geo map, we could choose whether it is, when you come in here, you'll notice it's asking you, is it a continent, which is kind of the highest level, subcontinent, country, country subdivision, first level and second level, depending on the different, up to the least level, which is latitude and longitude, which is a point in place or a point in time. So That's how easy it is. You can easily change the data type here. And the same thing also work with currency, and you will have it there. Let's say we go to profit. Profit is showing us number, but we are not interested in it. Is not a number, it is a currency, it is an amount. It's not just an ordinary number. So we could come in here and go to currency. We know it's currency. I am in and I am in the UK, so I will represent it with British pound, and I'm happy with that. The same thing if I come here, this is showing me number, and I am happy with the number here. So it's showing me number. I'm happy with the number here. But what it's showing me is just ordinary number. But my margin is in percentage. So I want to make it percent. And that's how simple it is. That's how wonderful it is. If I also go to quantity, quantity is number. I don't have a problem with that. The same way you can go through all your data and prepare it. Because let's get it, guys. The definition of data modeling is manipulating data to support your business objective. Manipulating your data to support manipulating your data to support your business objective is data modeling. And this is what we are actually doing here. Trying to manipulate our data, changing the data type to support our business objective. The other thing we could also do is to, just like we came here, this is a function. This any column that has any field that has the fx, which stands for function, is a calculated field. Any field that has this is a calculated field. And when you click on the function, you'll be able to see the formula that controls that particular field. And when I click on it, you'll see it. All it is profit divided by sales multiplied by 100. That gives us the profit margin. Of course, profit margins are in percentage. That's why we say divided by 100. And that's how easy it is. All right, so this is not a class for creating this is not a class for creating calculated field. We will go into creating a calculated field in details. But this is how simple you can actually create a calculated field. All right, so let's go back. And here I am done. All right, so I have sales. I need to still convert this to its currency that I want. Currency, and again pound sterling. What else do I have? All right, I'm happy with what I have right now. Then I will move on. Do we have any form of aggregation? Depending on what you want. Do you have any form of are you performing any form of aggregation here? You can actually come in here and perform that aggregation. So having done this, having converted these sales to currency, it automatically the a sum, performed an aggregation for us. And what did it do? It picked up sum for us. And that is the correct aggregation. But if I feel it is not correct, I could come in here and pick up what I really want for it. You could say, in case you don't want any aggregation on it, you remove it. Sum, average, count distinct, mean, max, median, standard deviation, and variation. These are some of the aggregations you can perform on your data, and it's so massive. Good. When I'm done, so imagine this is profit margin. I have done it. All I need to do is explain it. So this is profit divided divided need to correct that, divided by sales, then multiply by 100. I need to correct this. And that's how it is. This way, when someone comes in and needs to understand what I did, the explanation will be very clear. And the person will move on. It becomes easier to understand what the column is for, the field is for, and how to use it in order to be able to use it for the right information. And that's how simple this is. The other group I did not mention here, which we will talk about in future video, is parameter. Parameter also appears here. And when we start building our parameter, you will understand what I mean. And that's how simple this is. All right, guys. So this is how simple this interface is. This is where you prepare your data. This is where you prepare your data for any form of analysis. And it's important you come here and ensure that your data is in order. Your data set is in order, or data type is in order. So another thing I did not mention is this ellipsis. So when you click on these three ellipses, you could see what you can actually do on this. Could see count distinct, duplicate, hide, and you can remove. All right, so let's use this count. As soon as I created that count, see what happened. It created that same on my matrix, and it called it a calculated column. So when I click on this, you will see the calculation here, and that's how simple it is. So in other words, I could easily create a calculated field from here. You just come in here and create the calculated field you want to create. That's how simple it is, and it will come in to your matrix and you will find it here. Okay, guys, so when I'm happy with all my changes, happy with all my model, all I need to do is to go to create reports, and this will take me to the reports interface. So let's go in. Yes, I want to add reports. Happy now. I'm happy with all my calculations, and it has brought me here. If you notice, I explained that the metrics are green. They are the fields with the green color, and the dimensions are the fields with blue color. This same property also follows This same property also follows the dataset down to the reporting interface. Did you also notice up here that is no title? So the title of the dataset the does not follow the dataset down to this interface. The only place you notice the title of the dataset is here. That's the name of the dataset on this data pan. On the data pan, that's where it shows that this is a supply chain data. It doesn't reflect here. Here, at this point, you can give it any name. You can give it the name you want to give it. You can give it supply chain dashboard. And here you go. That's how simple it is. If I want to easily do any calculation, I could just delete this if I want, or I can add a new visual. Sorry, not here. I can add a new chart, pick a card, drop it here, and as I dropped it there, and this is my matrix. So my record count, which was the matrix, this record count, if you remember, was here. So now I have it here, and that's my matrix, and it's telling me how many rows I have in my data set. And that is it. That's how to model your data in Local Studio. Thank you. Wow, that was a bit long, longer than I expected. Did you get value from that video? Did you enjoy that video? That is it about Local Studio Editor. the place where you model your data. And if you did get value from the video, I encourage you to subscribe to my channel. Give us a thumbs up and press the bell icon so that whenever I post a video, you will be the first to know.